everyone.
Blood tub.
Are we good?
A blood tub.
You're not here yet. We have to introduce you.
Hey, guys. This is The Feeling is Mutual. I'm Jenny Zigrino.
I'm Jen Saunderson.
And in the studio today, we have a special guest.
one of my favoriteest people ever.
Oh, wait. I didn't his name.
It goes Jenny, my husband, and then
Cam.
Yeah. That makes me feel good because I think you're inappropriately high on my list as well. So I'm glad we really doubled down hard. Hi, I'm Kyle Clark.
yeah.
I'm the blood tub guy.
you introduced yourself.
I wanted to make a blood tub joke.
I said it, and then I thought, and then
I
Jen
didn't
went over her hierarchy, and then she just didn't say your name.
This is Kyle Clark.
Hey,
He's
everybody.
registered in my phone as Kyle as a human.
Uh-huh.
That's
Is
great.
it human or person?
Oh, person.
Oh, there we go. And then
That's
you're saved in my phone as Jen Saunderson, a cool person in parentheses.
Neither of you are in my phone.
Which I did not realize until I didn't know where I could park. And then I was like, didn't get her number from that. This is Red episode 3 years ago.
No one's in my phone. It's just emergency contact.
And I'm
the
the
only way to be
emergency
safe.
contact. It's not Jenny's mom. It's me.
No, it's Jen. My mom
I
won't
know
pick
her
up.
blood type.
Do you really?
It's me.
Oh, did she pick you because you have a good blood type so that she's like, well, if things go wrong.
Yeah. Jen is my DNA.
Is both of your guys' blood
clone.
type Gen positive?
When I need an organ,
Universal
I can
Jen
harvest
donor.
it.
It's the island. I'm ScarJo in the island. People don't do a lot of island references, but I feel like this podcast, at least one,
That's what it's
Is the
for.
island? Is that the one where
Ewan McGregor
and there's a DNA person that's just like, my kid needs an organ.
Well,
I've raised another kid.
It's a DNA match of yourself.
Yeah.
Kind of like the preview that just dropped of Gemini Man.
Oh,
Did
is
you
the
see
trailer?
that?
I have
yeah.
not.
Oh my gosh, they see Will Smith like in all like just
Gemini Man?
so
Will
chill.
Smith's new movie.
Yeah, he's playing
It's
an
his, like, passion
older version
project.
of. He's playing like present day Will Smith and like 90s Will Smith when that movie was actually sold as
Yeah.
a script.
What?
But
Does he have a high
says-
top fade in CGI?
No, but he says to the camera, he's like, "You made a person from another person." I'm like, no,
I
Will
can't wait for
Smith,
this.
Can I
no.
ask
And then
one
does he sit
important-
down and give you positive reinforcement?
What if it's just all his characters from all of his movies?
I just hope it's just a movie made out of the tweets from his children,
There we go. Okay, I like it.
which are the worst tweets ever.
Can I ask an important question? Is that watching that while you were late?
Yeah.
No, oh my gosh, no! I watched that first thing. My head popped off the pillow, and I was just like, "Gemini Man." That's
It's Gemini Man Day.
It's a trailer release day.
for me. It was like Empire Records, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's Rex Manning Day!" by Gemini Man.
All right, so let's just cut to the chase of what's
Yes.
going on today. Kyle Clark has brought us a delicious treat that reminds me of Easter, which just happened.
There's a handful of Easter-related items in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to act. So you guys threw this out, and I immediately had a panic attack.
Everyone panics when
You
they come
picked it
here.
so quick because 3 people have picked popcorn, and I'm putting the kibosh on popcorn.
Well, that's what happened is first
Kai pop
you
on
threw the
popcorn?
concept and then waited 4 seconds, then said a second one said, and no popcorn. Separate text, but almost immediately afterwards. Like with the pacing of and another thing.
Oh, by the way, I feel like I
Was
can
that a
say
little
that to
Blandy
you.
Man voice?
It was a well, actually. Actually, no popcorn.
So
You want to introduce Blandy Man to this? Is it multi?
is this our multimedia project?
Oh wait, Kyle, what do you do?
Oh,
We haven't said anything about what you do.
I'm a comedian and a writer.
Cool. All right, that's out of the way.
And a podcaster.
He's fantastic. He started his own album label
Yeah.
here, or label
awesome.
yeah.
for comedy. He just came out with his brand new
Which should be out
CD.
soon. It keeps getting delayed on iTunes. It's been a real fun game to just keep searching to see if my record's out yet, so I can tell people.
You're like iTunes is stopping it
It was a whole thing on it was a thing I messed up, but I keep pretending
with your
like,
own record
Yeah,
company.
look, glad I did it on my record.
Jenny,
But I did it right on my last record and the first record I put out with was
What
mine.
if
So So
sues himself.
He's just Napster now.
My record company's holding my label, holding my record back.
which was sort of happening because I was like, well, I got to fly places, so I guess I'll put my record out later. I give myself my own delay.
No, I love it.
My favorite game when you start an ill-advised comedy record label is that when you're sitting on a couch with a bunch of other comedians, you don't want to get up. You go, hey, I'll give somebody a record deal if you get me a soda.
Who was it?
Was it based off my talent? Just
Yes.
my ability to grab a Sprite.
Your talent at acquiring me a Diet Coke.
Yep. Yeah, Jen, don't spit on your computer.
Yeah.
So,
Man,
okay,
you're just a cloud of destruction today.
so Kyle, why did you bring us these delicious treats?
Okay, so I then had to think, like, what food do I... To begin with, I'm a terrible cook. Like, so
Okay,
cooking
fair enough.
anything was off the table. I bake a little bit, but only at the holiday times. It's like a weird seasonal thing where I get real into it and then fall off immediately.
Okay.
But I do have a lot of strong opinions on candy.
Okay.
And so I was like, what's a good candy situation? And then I realized immediately I had already had too many thoughts about the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup because it's
Okay.
definitely in my top favorite candies. And
my
here,
goodness.
let me give you guys my really pretentious and stupid like breakdown of why the Reese's candy is a great thing.
Okay.
The Reese's Peanut Butter Cup and the line of products in it, it's basically just chocolate and peanut butter, occasionally some other flourishes, but primarily that. It's like the Ramones of candy. It's just like 3 chords, 2 minutes long, no messing around, and that's what makes the Ramones a great band, and it's what makes Reese's a great candy.
I will say I've had like the Justin's, like all natural, whatever. It doesn't hold a candle to whatever peanut butter homogenized DNA
It's
shit
because it's
is
like
in there.
kind of
It's so good.
soft and moist at the same time in a way that God didn't plan for.
It's like a
It's
half-baked.
You know what it is? It's like a baby Butterfinger.
Yes.
Like if it just matures a little more, it'll turn into a Butterfinger. Which is my favorite candy.
And that's definitely on my list as well. There's something about the combination of chocolate and peanut butter that's a beautiful thing.
I don't know. It's so good.
That's where do
You
you
make eggs?
Oh, these are that's over there because this is my Reese. I couldn't find a good loose Reese's Pieces thing, but I just had these for Easter, and they're my Jimmy Jam.
Yeah.
Because the Reese's Pieces has in the last year or so become kind of my go-to movie candy because I've been
Yeah.
excited to see the resurgence of the Reese's Pieces because they were hard to find for a while,
Yeah.
and they're back, baby.
In pod form.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, Reese's
Sorry.
Pogs.
So okay, so you brought. So
Okay,
you brought
so I've got a
us-
list.
tell us,
So
yeah,
here
what you
we've
brought.
got for everybody to do a standard Reese's peanut butter cup. We've got the
That's our
big
control
cup.
group.
Is it only available in the king size?
No, I just
now?
grabbed it because I wasn't sure how many people were going to be here, and I figured the
Okay.
engineer could get one.
All right. I mean, you brought all the candy.
Yeah. And so then I brought 2 big cups because I
Okay.
think that the big cup makes an interesting point, and I will get to that in a minute. I've got the Reese's Pieces cup.
This is like a scientific method of Reese's
Oh,
Pieces.
100%. When I said think too much about it, and you were like, all right, but like I don't think you understand too much thinking.
What's your
Okay.
hypothesis on Reese's
so we've got
Pieces?
Well,
so we
he'll
got
get
the
to it.
Reese's
I'm
Pieces cup, which is an interesting new one. We've got the mini Reese's.
Wait, what's the that's the big cup? Oh, it's got pieces
This?
in the cup. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so pieces in the
Fair.
cup, mini Reese's.
Yep.
The Reese's egg.
I love the eggs.
Which I'm also using as our fill-in for basically any of the seasonal setups because it's the OG of the seasonal setups. That's
Yeah.
a fast break right there.
Ooh, this
And
looks
then
like a Twix
we have-
and a Reese's had a baby.
Yes. And then we have the
Ooh.
outrageous, which used to be the nutrageous, but they've brought it back with Reese's pieces instead of pieces
Oh
of
my
peanut.
God.
And then we've got the egg pieces, which are a little different than the normal Reese's pieces, but I find that there are strong elements of them, so we'll get there.
Okay.
Please restart this podcast and make it a drinking game for every time Kyle says pieces.
They would be dead. They would literally
Yep.
be dead.
And then I hope you make a Pieces
I
from
was
the
about to say,
1980s
yeah,
horror
yeah.
movie because Kyle and I are on a horror trivia team.
Pieces.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't think I told her all about it in the time that you were waiting here that I couldn't not bring it up?
Yeah.
The proudest thing I do all month.
Which is my favorite?
Which of these is your favorite?
So that's a solid question. I think that it bounces back and forth between a classic Reese's, but
Yeah.
idealized a cold Reese's is the
wait, a
best.
cold
Reese's?
Yeah, you put it in
I
the
don't
fridge
see
for a minute.
cold Reese's on the table.
So we don't have that because look, nothing's perfect. We're
Yeah.
bringing it in. It's, you know, and then the Reese's Pieces is probably my favorite overall.
Okay.
And it's because it's the only version that has smooth peanut butter in it. which I think is interesting. The others all have a texture to them. And I find that the texture of it is satisfying. Its density and smoothness, but the same flavor as the Reese's peanut butter is a really satisfying thing.
Okay, so you're a crazy person, is what you're telling me.
I'm sorry. I thought we were doing
the best guess so far because somebody actually is talking about texture. I know why they really like it. No, just popcorn again, and I'm like,
once again, I've come to a thing, and they're like, "Whatever, nerd, you took it too far. You love too much, too fast."
It is a lot of options.
Well, is this something that reminds you like you used to have this when you were like a kid?
So different ones have different feelings.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
Is this like your second grade crush?
No, that's so okay.
Minis?
I mean, if you want to go Reese's Minis, that's travel candy.
Okay.
That's a thing that I usually get if I'm driving somewhere long distance, and I'll throw a couple of snacks in. It's usually a honey barbecue Fritos, which are kind of the best of the Fritos, and then a Reese's Minis, and that's usually my go-to two driving snacks.
You know what? Mine are regular Fritos and Sour Patch Kids.
See, you get it. You got to have a sweet and a salty there.
Yep.
You guys could be buddies now.
I've definitely had friends I've traveled with where they think I'm a maniac, and then an hour in, they're just like, "Oh, he thought this through, and I didn't."
Yep.
I got canker sores, and only canker sores.
I had no salt to fill in those canker sores.
Yeah, you got to keep the pH balance in your mouth proper. I love a Reese's peanut butter cup. I think it's the Ramones of candy. It's just it gets the job done. It's great. The introduction of the big cup has in the last few years has been a fascinating introduction because it changes the ratio of chocolate to peanut butter. It has a higher chocolate ratio than a standard Reese's cup.
No, wait, higher peanut butter ratio.
No, it's a denser chocolate.
So
that's why I brought them, so that we can sample both.
Okay, so I thought it would be a higher peanut butter concentration.
Yeah, agreed.
But it's basically just
there's more peanut butter, but the ratio is different because there's more peanut butter, but there's also more chocolate, so it evens out. But it is a different feel.
Okay,
it's subtle. It's kind of like wine tasting.
Okay,
but
are we gonna spit these out in a bucket?
I mean, I do have the bag in case we need to.
Put them right in my mouth, Jen. Just
now,
baby bird that shit in
Even newer than the big cup, we have the Reese's Pieces cup, which I have never been more torn on a product.
I've never had it.
Because I want to love them because I love a Reese's cup. I love Reese's Pieces. Theoretically, I was looking at, did my two best friends just start dating? And instead it is my two best friends started dating. That's that weird thing where now it's weird.
Yeah, well, it's like two positives.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in this case, make a negative.
Don't love it. And again, it fucks with the ratio in a weird way. And again, weird mouthfeel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Again, I think the most chocolate to peanut butter ratio difference is the minis because those definitely have a higher chocolate ratio.
I feel like someone's taking notes at home. Like, wait a minute.
Someone is really going like, this guy gets it. And that person, please tweet at me.
I'm excited about the egg one because to me, the feel of the chocolate is soft.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you have two egg options.
Yeah. Well, that's the same one. I just wasn't sure how many people.
I feel like the egg to me is like perfect because it doesn't have like the hard edge that the
irony being the egg is the least chocolate, lowest chocolate to peanut butter ratio.
Well, maybe that's why I like it.
Spreadsheet on
I'm
this?
thinking about it.
I would say for me, having not even had it yet, I love a Twix. And my mom and I are the weirdos that will lick all the chocolate off, and then we will bite the caramel off, and then we will
eat the cookie,
because then we have three treats in one. No, we know how to maximize a good time.
Did you also put pantyhose on your head, you fucking weirdo?
Yeah, but you got to cut a hole out. For
I mean,
I'm sorry. How do you spend Thursday night?
It's a reference to oh God, what's the movie with the documentary? With the two crazy women that live.
Oh, Grey Gardens.
Grey Gardens. You and your mom are going to Grey Gardens at one time.
That clearly has happened.
Cats in the wall, and then you just eating Twix and licking the chocolate.
We're not related to the Kennedys.
The idea of a version of Grey Gardens where Earl Skakel might be nearby is the funniest thing in the world to me now. So the Reese's Fast Break, I will say this. I am fascinated that it has survived as long as it has. Because it's the weirdest of all of them.
Yeah.
Because it adds a foreign element. And I think they're great. Like it's sort of the same situation where like you add peanut butter to something and I'm usually like, oh, you fixed it. Like
you took away the best part, which is the caramel.
No, it looks like a tag along from the Girl Scout cookies,
very much
but in a bar form. And I can get behind that.
I'll say this. If you're enjoying, okay, so what were we saying before that? Sorry, said tag along. My brain started indexing Girl Scout cookies.
It was a Girl Scout cookie. I wasn't trying to say Tagalog, which is a language.
If what you're looking for is caramel and peanut butter and chocolate, the peanut butter Snickers, I don't even know why they make regular Snickers anymore.
Oh, no, I just don't like Snickers.
Kyle is a sommelier of Reese's.
Remember a day ago when I texted you, I'm thinking about doing a bit about candy, but I'm worried it will alienate people? And you were like, don't, just do it. Like, you got this. Like,
I thought you meant on stage.
Well, yeah, but it comes from a place of real life. Can you imagine when this is heightened, what it'll be like?
Oh my gosh. You're gonna be like Gaffigan, and people are gonna be not instead of bringing you cake, they're gonna be like, I brought Kyle Reese's.
I mean, what a horrible setup. Oh no.
Yeah, injected with poison. Don't eat stuff people give you. Anyway.
Okay, and then the outrageous, which I have not tried the outrageous yet, but the nutrageous before. So it's like log of peanut butter, and then it used to be like a payday with chocolate on it, where it's like log of peanut butter and then nuts on the outside and then chocolate. This is the new version where instead they've gotten rid of the peanuts and replaced them with Reese's Pieces. I'm kind of curious about that. And then the eggs are just my example for getting the example of the peanut butter consistency of a Reese's Pieces.
Candy coating.
Now, I will say the thing I was going to say about the Reese's Pieces eggs, which are great. I give them a 5-star. Go check them out. They're going to be on sale. I don't know. By the time this episode's out, they'll all be gone.
Yeah.
They have a denser candy shell than a traditional Reese's Pieces. It's a little bit thicker, a little bit harder, and it's a matte finish on the end instead of a shiny finish on the outside, and it does change things more than I expected it to.
Okay.
It's still got some sheen to it, but nowhere near the level of a piece.
Wow.
Okay.
You have done some
You look proud and disappointed at the same time.
I guess, like, what got you into, like,
being a fat kid,
stuff?
like, I guess, enjoying candy. I guess some of it is, I mean, I love candy. Like, I love all candy. Like, it
shows. There's
stuff I think is garbage. There's stuff I think is good. There's underrated, overrated. I got lots of opinions on this. There's something fun about it. Like, it's a, who doesn't love, eating candy, and everybody's got thoughts on candy. And then on top of that, I think I'm trying to figure out like a good way to get into this, because there's a whole other layer of like dumb dorky things. My family growing up, we were real into factory tours. I don't know if you guys I love a factory tour. If you're gonna go show me how a thing is made, and I can get a hat.
My mom and I love Unwrapped.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite shows of all time. Have you seen the new one, Unwrapped 2.0 with Carlton? Also pretty good.
And I kind of also really miss.
But the other guy was a germaphobe. Couldn't even touch stuff.
Well, he had OCD.
OCD. Oh, I thought he was.
He's also Double Dare.
He was. No, he had OCD. Now that's Howie Mandel's the one that's the germaphobe.
Mm-hmm. Oh, isn't that also a form of OCD though, too?
Yeah, I think so, but I think because like Mark Summers was like not afraid of germs. He was like so debilitated for he like couldn't leave his own house because he got like into these weird infinity loops and stuff. Sad story.
That's so sad.
He had to keep doing that physical challenge, just sliding down that big
up.
I can't find the flag.
It's fun. I love Mark Summers because he's not a guy who editorializes. Like, he's so like the perfect host. Like, he's almost a robot, and that's why we all love him, because he's a perfect tabula rasa.
And then he just has a deep dark.
Yes. And then the only time I've ever seen him ever like editorialize on anything was a real early episode of Double Dare where he like makes a note about how much he loves the band U2. And I remember going like, that's weird. That's the one time where he's like, the answer is U2, and they're a great band. He says to the camera, weird that's the one time you were like, I'm breaking the fourth wall for this. Bono needs to know that there's a TV host who loves him.
I love that. Oh no! The last factory tour I took was Ben and Jerry's. Have you done that one?
I'm dying to. That's so high on the list.
That's a good one. What's your favorite factory tour you've taken?
It's probably a tie, and they're both in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, real solid factory game.
Tours. Love it.
I mean, one of them, it's the reason I brought this up, is the Hershey's tour.
Sure.
Like, that one's real good because I love that you go on a little, like, dark ride, and there's dancing animatronic chocolate bars that tell you how chocolate's made.
What? Oh, my gosh.
And I love a dark ride where dancing robots tell me things.
Oh, my
God. Somebody yell at you and say, you get nothing. You good day, sir. At the end.
Oh, like a Charlie in the Chocolate Factory?
Yeah, you got it.
They do not.
Oh, then not worth it.
Wait, isn't that Cadbury? Isn't Willy Wonka a chocolate Cadbury?
I think so, yeah.
You have to go to England for that.
Exactly. So.
And they'd be like, you can't get your pudding if you haven't finished your...
They're going to Pink Floyd you? You're just going to flat out go the wall on you?
Which Charlie in the Chocolate Factory trap do you think you'd fall for?
Oh, man.
And we're talking Vatican I Gene Wilder movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Well, I wouldn't be a Gustus Gloop because that's my go-to
You don't
line
want to
for
fall
everything.
into a river of chocolate?
Like anytime Dawn does something too much, I go, save some for later. And we both just lock eyes and go, this is what keeps the marriage.
The secret to a good marriage is goop play.
Yeah. You just go on goop.com and are like, can't afford it, can't afford it, can't afford it. I think might be the flying one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Because having to like burp your way back down, I feel like before I figured that out, I'd just have panicked and been cut apart.
Probably be Mike TV. I'd just be like, yeah, you know what? I could just take this. Yeah, shoot me. Oh, shit.
You know what's fun?
Wait, what's Mike TV?
He gets
vaporized.
vaporized. See, basically what happens in the
Oh, yeah,
fly.
it's tiny.
Yeah, and like, how smaller can you make me? I'm 5'1". Let's do this.
Oh, man, so small. We're going to make you Italian grandma small.
No, I want to be like Miss Fizzle and be in like a magic school bus in the solar
It's
system.
Frizzle,
No.
but I'm sorry for
Frizzle. I'm
correcting
so
you.
sorry. No, you're right.
When they went inside the body when
Yeah.
the kid had too many orange
Oh,
things.
yeah. Mm.
So great.
So
Speaking
good.
of orange, Reese
I'm
Pieces.
older than you guys.
You can't end every conversation with that.
So wait, was Hershey's then
I'm
what
going to
was the
get you to
other
ruin
one?
your computer.
What was the other one?
And then the hers/Utz, like pretzel and chip
Oh.
factory, which is weird because I grew up out here, so I didn't have those. But their
Yeah.
factory's amazing, and
Utz
also
chips are good.
I have a mouse pad of Chipper the Chipmunk, their shitty mascot, on my editing computer, and I've had that for like 15 years now. So I just look at it and go, God, what a great factory tour that was. Take it away, Chipper.
I had a mouse pad that was just 19th century pornographic.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Not
That
photos,
checks out.
paintings.
There
It was
you go.
all 18th and 19th century pornographic paintings.
I got the Chipper one to upgrade because my Lion King one that came with the CD-ROM from 1994 was starting to go bad by 2006.
No, I had a Lion King, one of
gotta
those
get
die
chipper.
cut things where it's like I could just print out my own coloring book. It's cool.
Ooh.
No big deal. Whatever.
You printed out your own coloring book?
Yeah, it was really cool.
Side question. Does
What?
that feel like it would be more or less expensive than just a regular coloring book?
More
Definitely more.
expensive.
Definitely more. Also, was super cool. An audition to play Oliver's Twist at my school play by singing Lion King covers.
Ooh, which
Wow.
one?
I'm gonna be a mighty king.
Yeah.
Did you pass? Did you get
Yeah,
the audition?
yeah, I got in the chorus, which is like
Ooh.
good enough. And
Yeah, it's fine.
I might have started
Not bad.
just dancing, and no one else did that in their audition.
That's so cute.
I was so cute. Like,
Oh.
yeah, sorry, I'm way off.
I used
I-
to dance to that soundtrack all the time.
I remember one of the coolest things I'd ever seen as a kid was at the public pool. We went there one day in the summertime, and they had one of those like speaker underwater things. So when you put your head underwater, the Lion King soundtrack was playing, and I almost drowned.
That is
You're like, no, I can't feel the love tonight. Like, 2 more seconds.
Do we have let's do our little time check, all right?
Okay.
Because we
Jen,
haven't
what
even
are we
dug
doing?
into any of these guys
We
yet.
haven't eaten, and we have to get to our Reese Pieces facts.
I do want to say, like, I wanted to figure out just a quick trivia question. What either of you would think Hershey's paid to have Reese's Pieces in the movie E.T. in 1982? It's kind of what helped launch Reese's Pieces.
15,000.
$15,000, $1982.
I imagine it's because I know M&M's passed.
Yes, correct.
So I imagine they maybe lowballed them, but I'm going to say, God, I can't tell if I want to go too high or too low on this.
She went 15,000.
I'm going to say 50,000.
50,000. Both are wrong. It was 1 million.
Fuck, that was going to be what I was going to say. And then Jenny sounded so confident in a low number that I was...
$1 million.
Because I went from wanting to say $1 million and then $500,000. I'm like, maybe I'm way
They
off.
paid $1 million
Yeah.
of E.T. eat Reese's Pieces?
Yeah, well, also to help with the ad campaigns too. So it was like a joint venture there.
Do you guys remember the like late 80s, early 90s Reese's Peanut Butter Cup commercials?
No.
Because I think about a couple of them all the time. One of them...
I remember the vampire.
That's the one I was going to say. It's the best one. It's
vampire
always
one?
like, how do you eat a Reese's? And for Dracula, it was like, I like to eat the peanut butter
Oh, yeah.
first. And then
Likes
there's
it
fang
first.
marks in it, and it's all empty.
You know what? The new Reese's Pieces ads are too hip for me. They're too fucking.
Well, I don't
hip.
even think I've seen them.
Oh yeah.
What
Are they just like
programs are you
American
watching?
Apparel ads?
It's just
but they're
color.
Like covered
It's just
in
like
candy?
color blocks of like and words.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, are they
But you have to
don't
know how to
even
read.
register.
high-low versus the Skittle ads, though, where they're just like, you want LSD, you want fruit candy?
Taste the rainbow, motherfucker.
Is that one where it's like
Bitch,
an
get in here.
What the hell, Skittles?
You know what I love is
How
that
many bumps?
for like Christmas and Halloween, they just recycle old ads. Like
Yes,
there's not
Yeah.
even
like
Oh, I
a
love it.
Hershey's
that
like
Corona
bell.
one
Mhm.
that's been like the palm tree that lights up. That's
Look,
been
when
a
you've
solid
reached
20
perfection.
years. It is a perfect. It's a perfect.
Do you know what I
ad.
miss real bad is they got rid of the Cool Spot and 7-Up ads because I think 7-Up just gave up at some point. And
It doesn't. Does it exist still?
I think so.
Oh.
But they're no longer making it up ours,
Man.
or like having the Cool Spot guy run and make things out of ice sculptures like they used to do. Those commercials were fun.
Oh yeah.
I still say,
did love
and I
the
know
7-Up
you're
years.
aware of this, Yo Noid, still my favorite mascot.
You know the Noid story, right?
Yes, you've told me, but for our listeners, because you've already.
What is the Yonoid?
Oh, the way
So
they got rid
good.
of the Noid was because a man.
What's the Noid?
Okay, the Noid was who you were supposed to avoid, and he's a little guy with like rabbit ears and a red onesie and a mask
Very
who
terrifying
fucks up
looking.
pizzas. I don't know if you can swear. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
But
you
what
can.
is what
Okay,
pizza?
so, yeah,
Just
a
in
Domino's
general-
pizza.
A Domino's,
Yeah, Domino's
pizza.
So they were
Okay.
avoid the Noid, get Domino's because they had the pizza table in there, so they wouldn't fuck up your pizza.
Oh, okay.
And a man named John Noid had a nervous breakdown and thought that avoid the Noid was Domino's attacking him, and went and held hostages at a Domino's pizza, and that killed him. Yo Noid had a video game.
I love that video
Amazing.
game.
Cool
It
Spot
was
also
my
had a game.
favorite.
I love that we had a bunch of things where you could, because there's also Chex Man. There's so many like video games that are just like, I love you, corporate logo. Take me on an adventure.
They don't do that anymore.
Not enough.
Who goes onto Santa's lap and goes, you know what I would like more than a house for my family? I'd like to give Domino's employees just a little extra stock this year by getting the Yo Noid pizza game.
You know, people scoffed at us when they said we were going to remake Miracle on 34th Street with
Employees.
corporate partners, but you wouldn't even notice from watching it.
Employees don't have stock in the company. All right, let's get
All right,
into
let's
10
get into
minutes.
some candy.
Which ones are we going to get
Okay,
into first?
so what is something everybody's kind of curious about based on the
Fast
table?
break.
So you've dive into some fast break. I think I'm going to try this outrage. I want everybody to try a
I want
Reese's
to try that
Pieces egg.
outrage. I'll get into an egg.
Okay.
Chocolate.
This is a tasty piece of chocolate.
Peanut
delightful.
butter covered in smut.
yum,
Don't
yum.
make that noise. That's the whole point of this. Is to not make that noise.
You made it weird. I made it fun.
To eat your cups out, baby. Yeah. Smothered.
This is how I receive, bitch.
My eyes just feel like mace.
All right, so wow, the census on everything we just tried right now. So we tried the outrageous, we tried the fast break, we tried the eggs, and then we tried the eggs and Reese's together. I did not like this one.
No, that's the Reese's Pieces cup. Not great.
I feel like the candy coating in the pieces turns when it's
Yes,
inside of there.
I could not agree more.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I found that that's sort of an issue with the break or the outrageous, but there's just less peanut butter in the outrageous. So I feel like they're like
But there
compensating.
is caramel.
And the caramel is nice.
It is pretty good. I didn't try the fast break. How'd you like the fast break, Jen?
The fast break I liked. I wanted more cookie.
So you could
'Cause
lick it off like a fucking weirdo?
No. My mom and I have a tradition. Don't shit on the tradition.
no, that's fine. You guys are crazy.
Do you guys look at each other in the eye the whole time too?
This is the tradition.
Yes, we mirror each other like we're pretending to be the twins from Nell.
No.
Mother, are you ready for the tradition?
Interesting going with the Nell instead of the duck soup Groucho Marx version of that.
I was
No, I
thinking of
wanted to
Nell's
go
a good
straight
one.
no ta-ta for Nell.
No ta-ta, baby.
Like that's...
Mama, no ta-ta.
Oh, how did you make a nice moment where my mom and I look lovingly into one another's eyes while eating food, which is also love to us, in a dirty
it's
way?
horrifying.
Yeah, because it's really upsetting.
You're you're really upset.
You know when you tell like a
Does her
family memory
husband-
and then somebody else is really upset when they
I just have an image of her
Yes, I
husband
have a
like
really
walking in,
scary
eating an
family.
apple, and then seeing it and being like, "Oh no!" Just like slowly walking back out of the kitchen.
I feel like the Jen's family go like, let's all eat for dinner. Let's all eat apples like horses.
Is that a Washington jam?
No, just a fun weird thing. Yeah,
What are some facts we have, Jen?
yeah.
Some Reese's facts.
God, I shared with you the best of the facts.
Just the E.T. one. Can I make a confession? I don't
the
like the movie
only fact?
E.T.
No, I don't like the movie E.T.
It's
because
scared.
E.T. scared the shit out of me.
Oh my God, Jen, me too. I couldn't be alone with a poster in the room.
Whoa, really?
I was
Yeah, I
like,
couldn't be alone with it. I cried.
as a child, like I had severe burns from a coffee spill, so I had big scars. And E.T. looked like a burn victim to me.
Whoa.
And like, cause I have scars like on 10% of my body, and so like hidden. And then and I saw E.T. and I was just like, oh no,
He's like me.
it could have been. Like it just felt so bad.
Do you feel like he was coming for you?
Yes,
like
I felt
E.T.'s
he's
holding a
coming for
lighter
me
to
and he's
finish the
gonna-
job?
Yes, exactly. And then that was also like during the time when like all the daytime programs were like just peddling out poor children, like this other like horrific
Oh,
story.
the third world country send money things?
Oh no, not that. Just like burn victim after burn
Wait,
victim.
what children shows are you watching that are full of burn victims?
No, daytime
victims?
shows.
Oh, oh, that's your burn victims. Hosted
Burn
by, I
Notice is
assume,
actually
Lisa.
about burn victims.
Burn victims for kids.
Are we going to have to go sell a show after this?
No, because you were saying like things that make you go, oh no. Because whenever there was a child that had really bad burns that were visible, my mom would drag me into the room and point at the TV and be like, Jennifer, could have been so much worse.
Whoa.
And I'm like, what?
That is some young mom shit.
Wow.
So yeah, E.T.
That's
real
impressive.
scared.
I just thought he was in a lame movie.
That is
and my
kind of a
Ninja
lame
Turtles
movie,
would have
too.
kicked his ass.
You know what movie was way better? Flight of the
Navigator?
Flight of
Hell
Navigator?
yeah, girl.
Yeah. I used to
movie
watch
rules.
that and be like, what?
Have you watched it
happening?
recently? It is shockingly sad.
Nope, I don't want
It
to
is
see it.
cripplingly depressing. I had a family friend who worked for Disney one year, gave us access to that like vault list of movies to order, and I lost my mind
Oh, no.
and got way
Shit.
too many movies. And one of them was Flight of the Navigator, and I watched it and I'm like, oh, huh. No wonder I was such a sad child.
Does
This
he die at the end or something?
sort of, but also like it's way more existential. And it really gets under the skin, like.
Because he's in the future, but then he's not. And
exactly,
then
and
there's
he
a
didn't
robot.
exist, and you know Paul Rubens is just a fun robot, and it's fun
that
because
is true.
you confuse it with parts of Explorers, and you remember all the fun parts of this movie are just the movie Explorers.
Oh,
Not even the movie. I love that movie. All right, what's some Reese's facts?
So Reese's were invented by Harry Burnett Reese, who worked at Hershey's. Again, I gave you the best fact up front.
Okay.
Who worked at Hershey's, and he worked in a milking cow division.
The milking cow division of Hershey.
Yeah, like,
You gotta get that milk somewhere. You think it's gonna milk itself?
Cow
Yeah.
milking division.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
imagine it's robots now.
Should they have that on the tour?
They did.
Just cows like.
No, they clock in.
Then he ended up buying and making his own factory, which went bust, and it was all like chocolate covered nuts and chocolate covered raisins, which are kind of a snore.
What a snory. Wait, what year is this?
This was in the early, like 1919, and then
Okay.
he
Can I
had-
ask a weird nerdy question?
Sure.
Is he then the guy who's like slinging early goobers and raisinets, or is he just bad at branding?
I think it was just a very oversaturated market.
So it's like that bag, those bags
Yeah.
at Target, where it's like these are goobers and raisinets, but we've named them something different.
Yeah.
That's less exciting.
oh, for sure.
Yeah, you know how exciting chocolate covered raisins were in 1919.
Chocolate.
It's really, man, I lost my foot to trench foot, but I love these chocolate covered dried grapes.
Wow.
That's what I'm gonna call. That's the off-brand of chocolate covered raisins.
Chocolate covered dried grapes.
In 1935, he made
2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
In
You guys weren't
You know,
supposed
time
to
well
say
spent.
it
out loud. I don't care. I don't
To
care.
midnight. We're talking about Iron Maiden. We're picking songs for after.
I'm going to say the last fun fact on this.
Okay.
Because sugar and chocolates were rationed during World War II, when Reese's developed his own brand, he created it using his basement, kind of like a Silicon Valley guy, just kind of doing it homemade. He was able to make more peanut butter cups than any of his other candy because peanut butter wasn't rationed. So it really became a much bigger.
This is a wartime food. I love a good wartime food.
I'd be curious about that because I think
chocolate covered hardtack.
Just break your teeth in half. They just shatter like glass.
But it's delicious.
So I hate to wrap this up because I adore both of you so very, very much.
Clark, where can we find you?
I'm at Kyle Clark is Rad on the Twitter.
I'll call you Clark now.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I'm
what's
cool
up,
with
Clark?
that. Yeah.
Call you Clark.
And I have my podcast that both of you have been guests on.
Yes.
We should get both you guys back on.
We'd love to.
Called This Is Rad, where we talk about rad things.
You have great fans too.
They are the best. We have the greatest listeners, and it makes me so happy.
We also have great listeners.
They're probably cool. I'm gonna base it entirely based on what kind of sass I get from a candy
we
opinion.
have a rating. We have a rating on it. Rate and subscribe, people. Get on there.
Yeah,
rate and
rate
subscribe.
It's the biggest thing you could do.
And theoretically, by the time this is out, my new record should be.
Okay, that's
I blame the hires up at that label.
Oh yeah, it's a hot mess up there.
Jen, what about you?
They can find me on Jen Saunderson on all the social medias, and I'll be at a show at the Public House on the 13th of May.
Cool.
Super fun.
I'm Jenny Zigrino, everything. And I will be on Friday, May 3rd. I will be at the Women in Comedy Festival headlining the Brattle Theater.
Ooh.
So you can still get tickets for that. Unless it's sold out. It's probably sold out by now. So rate and subscribe, you guys.
Yes, or email us at thefillingismutual@gmail.com and let us know your ideas on Kyle. Just your ideas on Kyle, not even about the
dress them
And
with our next guest.
let me know what candy I should come back and talk about next time. Because we're
Kyle,
just
already
talking
inviting
chocolate-based
himself
things.
Talking choc.
Let's be real. I mean, there's a lot of licorice talk that could still be had here.
Oh, Red Vines versus Twizzlers,
and
the age-old
and I'm a Vines
coastal
person for days.
I'm a Twiz.
Oh man,
You West Coasties are
Vines.
disgusting.
no, it's true.
Good night, everybody.